The head writer of Marvel Studios' Loki, Michael Waldron, teases the importance of Miss Minute and what that character brings to the MCU. And of course, we are not just talking about the fact that the character is voiced by Harley Quinn. Yes, it's pretty awesome. It's a pretty great get. Finally got a great voice actress involved with the MCU, so that's a giant bonus. No, we're going to talk about that character as a whole in the MCU. So this came from a recent interview with The Direct, and Michael Waldron was specifically talking about the idea of this character and bringing her to life and what she delivers, and essentially saying that if you look at the dialogue she is saying, if you look at the way that that character is handled, it was down to the wire to figure out what you can do and what the character can deliver. Essentially that if they needed to change some aspects, they could, because it's animation and it's a lot easier to handle than live action. And at the same time, he said that some of the most vital information and dialogue in the entire series involves her delivery and explanations of everything. Now, just one look back at the first episode of Loki, where they talk about the idea of the multiverse, the madness, the Nexus beings, and they dump all of that on you in the span of a minute and a half. I think you understand what he's saying, and it doesn't really need any more explanation than that. But really, it was a smart way for them to handle it, and you have to go all the way back to Guardians 1. And that's sort of the peak of when they realized that we can explain a lot with minimal time. And they did that by explaining the Infinity Stone and the Celestial and quickly move on. And now they've sort of perfected that type of storytelling in the MCU, where they can deliver all this important stuff, simplify it to the most basic concept and make sure everybody understands it, and not have to waste so much time that it slows anything down. And if you look at everything he says in other interviews that go along with this, we start to understand sort of why he's, I think, next on the hiring block spree of Marvel Studios, where we waited a little bit of time and they're like, yes, we picked up Jack Sheffer, who worked on WandaVision. He's probably going to be the next one here. It just makes sense. I mean, giving somebody the range to do something like that and explain so much and how the TVA works and work on Doctor Strange as well, it only makes sense that Miss Minute is sort of the tip of the iceberg for how he as a writer can approach these situations and make them simple. And a character like Miss Minute is, I think, full proof that he's very talented, and what he did with the likes of Rick and Morty, for example, has been brought over well, even the most common person to understand it, even if it's a talking female clock.